Hey everyone! After 2.5 months, we're back with a new Mew Mew blog thingy. Today we'll be covering a character that doesn't seem to have any haters. When asked about her, she's either loved or people find her to be okay. In fact, the worst I've ever come across when I mention her is someone asking, "Who's she?" That's right, we'll be talking about Ringo Akai, the character introduced in the Tokyo Mew Mew PlayStation RPG game. Unfortunately, that's the reason why not many people know about her. The game was only released in Japan and never got an English translation, not even an English mod. Some people who have managed to play the game don't know too much about her due to not understanding the dialogue. So in this video, I'll first go over the facts about Ringo, and then give my opinion on why she's pretty well liked, despite having quite a bit of focus in the game. So, what do we know about Ringo? Well, despite what some might think, she is the 6th Mew Mew since this story took place way before Ala mode.
She has a red motif and her animal is the Humboldt penguin.
She is also the same age as Booling, both being in the 6th grade, and despite her being a month older, she is slightly shorter and lighter in weight than Booling. Although this isn't depicted in group shots most of the time. Oops. She lives with her brother Mew Akai on an island reserve, so she's not used to talking to other people.
Her pet Humboldt penguin Yuki was her only friend before she met the Mew Mews.
Well, that's the bare bones of it all. Now let's get a little more in depth. When I say she lives with her brother, I mean she lives with only him. Their father is never mentioned, and their mother gave Ringo her pendant before she died. Because of this, and the fact that her brother is the only other human that she's with most of the time, she is really shy and has a hard time talking to others. Ringo really looks up to her brother and is very close to him, while Mew is really protective of her. I mean, seriously, he's a park ranger and he's not afraid to use that gun.
下がって人にライフルを向けるなんてあなたどういうつもり？
As for her powers, she, like Barry, got hers in a unique way. Unlike the other Mew Mews, she's not actually infused with her animal. In the game, Quiche and the new alien character Gato del Roi have figured out a way to turn endangered animals into chimeras. So Quiche tests this newfound ability on Yuki, but then Ringo tries to save the day with the power of love and friendship. I know, sounds cheesy, but the way she did it was so cute! Shut up! You're ruining the moment! Anyway, this triggered her pendant, which just so happens to be made of Mew Aqua. This, combined with Yuki's DNA, causes her transformation. Despite the weird circumstances of her transformation, Ringo is immediately accepted into the team and they spend the next 4 days trying to thwart Gato del Roi and Quiche's plans and having fun along the way. So, on the surface, it seems that Ringo has a lot of things in common with Barry when it comes to introducing a new character. However, Ringo seems to be much better received. If you're wondering why, I think I can answer that. Just note that while I am comparing Ringo's circumstances to Barry's, I don't prefer one over the other. In Ala mode, all we saw in the first couple of chapters really was Barry, with very limited info on what the original Mew Mews were up to since the last series. It's the complete opposite when it comes to Ringo. At the start of the game, we see all of our main protagonists, Sans Aoyama, at the island nature preserve going to the cottage and checking the place out. We don't even get to see Ringo until the end of day 1, and it wasn't because they were seeking her out. You see, Retsu tells Ichigo that Booling left to explore and hasn't returned, and was worried because there was a chimera attack recently. Because of course there was one. To Rio, vacation and overtime are synonyms. Anyways, Ichigo goes out to look for it. Kei-kun's with me, alone, in the woods at night! Anyways, Ichigo goes out to look for Booling and runs into Ringo by chance. She tells the others about her and Yuki. Rio, already knowing the aliens' plans, takes an interest since Yuki is an endangered animal, so he sends the girls to find them. This leads up to Ringo's reveal as a Mew Mew, which doesn't happen until near the end of day 2. Sure, Rio has to get all technical by saying that she's not a Mew Mew since she's not part of the original Mew project and is not directly infused. She says Mew Ringo, so she's a Mew Mew to us. Another opposite she has with Berry is her powers. Berry's powers were there to take the place of Ichigo's while she was gone, and then her powers complemented hers when she returned, thus giving the false impression of Berry being a god Sue. Ringo, despite the unique circumstances of her transformation, wasn't that strong of a fighter. Her powers only exist to help the other Mew Mews, mostly by healing them. Most speculate that her healing powers are due to her power source being her Mew Aqua pendant. Other than her physical attacks, her main attack can only be offensive if she does combo attacks with the other Mew Mews, and even then, they get healed as a bonus. Also, it's Ringo's powers that help trigger Ichigo's transformation upgrade. So the main difference between these two introductions was execution. Berry's introduction was mainly focused on her, while Ringo was shown to be more of a side character, still giving the original cast the spotlight. And there's also the fact that there is a little arc in the game where Ringo gets kidnapped and you have to save her, which once again makes the game focus more on the original Mew Mews. The final reason I could think of for the fans' love of Ringo is this: she has a voice. Sure, Berry had more background story, but I personally think that hearing Ringo actually talking and interacting with the characters gave her more connection to the viewers. She was also treated no differently than the other supporting Mew Mews. Heck, just like the others, she has her own character songs released on CD. And the cuteness of her voice also doesn't hurt. Also, even though the game takes place over the course of 6 days, it had more fleshing out of the story compared to Ala Mode, which had a lot crammed into 2 books. So people got to know Ringo more gradually instead of boom, boom, boom with Berry. In the end, the general consensus seems to be the simpler the better. But yeah, that was my small analysis of Ringo Akai. It wasn't that deep, but I didn't want to spoil the game for those who haven't played it. This also ends this Mew Mew blog thingy. If there are any Mew Mew subjects you want me to talk about, put it in the comments below. Tune in next time where I talk about, well, aliens.
Are? 私、リビングにいたはずだけど。
お、起きた。いきなり枕を投げるか？
枕でありがたいと思いなさいよね。